Welcome, agents, to an episode of Primetips. This time we're talking about drones and Dronenet, kind of a newer feature, and we're going to look at what it can and cannot do. So one of the first things I want to look at is moving the drone and what you can and can't do. So I'm at a location. You'll notice that there's really not a whole lot around me. There's a couple of portals. So to get to the Dronenet and your drone, you would go to the menu, and of course you would see something a little different. We'll see that next time when we come in. And there's Dronenet, and you notice it's got the little dot. So when I come here, there's no countdown or anything in the lower right hand corner. So my drone is at a location that's about 40 kilometers away from where I'm at right now, and it's actually on this portal right here. So if I try to hack that portal, I get portal burned out. So the portal's not really burned out. It's just that the way that it works is you can't hack the portal that you're sitting on all the time. You have to move and then hack. So let's say I'm going to move this guy. So if I pinch in a little bit, I can see I've got some portals out there in my view. So I can hit any one of those portals that I can see. So if I roll around, there's not a whole lot of choice from where I'm at. But I'll make about the longest jump that I can make. So I'll hit move, and it asks me to choose a target. So I will go to this one here, and I'll confirm.
Dronenet deployed.
And it made the jump. So now I'm at that other portal. You'll notice in the lower right-hand corner, I've got 59, 51, 50, 49. It's doing a countdown. So you can move that drone once every hour. So now that I've moved, I can do some actions with it. So if I click on it, you'll notice that if I have a link, it won't let me do that. If I try to put something in, it won't let me, as a mod, it won't let me do that. If I try to put in resonators, it won't let me do that. So basically all you can really do is hack and move. And there's a couple other things we'll talk about. So now that I'm on that, even if I try to charge it, I can't do that because I don't have a key to it. So I'm going to do a glyph hack, and I'm going to try to glyph hack keys. And you'll notice it tells me invalid command. And I'll tell you why here in a second. So here's my glyph. See if I can do it. Yay, I got it. And so it's just like a regular glyph hack. I'm going to get some mods. I'll get some resonators. But you notice what I didn't get was keys. So when you hack with your Dronenet, you can get objects, you can get mods, you can get resonators, bursters, but you won't get keys. So it won't let you key farm. Now, you notice that I can't move because my hour's not up. It says it's running hot. But I can do a recall. So what recall will do is it will move it back to where I'm at. So I'm going to do a recall. It asks, do you want to return to the agent? Confirm. And now it's back to where I'm sitting. So in about an hour, I could try to work on that portal. But since I did a recall, now it looks like I'm right next to that one, which I am. But if I try in Dronenet to hack it, I hack it, but I'm hacking it because I'm sitting next to it. I'm not hacking it because of the drone. Okay, and that can get a little confusing because it says drone footage, but it let me hack it. So that's kind of strange that it will let you do that.
Under attack. 1% drained. Hacking unsuccessful.
So I'll come back in a little bit and we'll see if we can get our drone on this portal. This is part 2 of our drone series. We're back at the same location. We're going to start up and see.
Downloading latest
that we are ready to move our drone. And you notice that I got a little red dot and it tells me I'm ready to move our drone. Now, I'm a resistance player, so this is an enemy portal that's right there. So I'm going to hit the menu and go to Dronenet. And with drones, I can deploy it anywhere that I can see. So I happen to be right next to this one, so I'm going to say move. Now you notice that I don't have recall because my drone has not been deployed. So I'll hit move and I will choose this as my target and I will confirm it.
Dronenet deployed.
So now I'm on that particular portal. And you'll notice that I have the timer started and I could recall it if I wanted to. Let's go ahead and do a quick hack.
Acquired.
And I didn't get any items. Well, that's stingy. But what I want you to see, so if the portal changes color, so it changes ownership, it's going to do a recall. So if you were on a enemy portal and somebody attacked it and took it, it would recall. If you are on one of your own portals, if your drone's on that and an enemy attacks it, it would recall it. And if it was on a occupied portal, one that wasn't, a ghost, nobody has it, and somebody took it, it would recall it. So let's do an attack here.
XM reserves.
And guess what? I
Resonator destroyed.
changed that portal. And now when I go back and look at Dronenet, you'll notice that it says drone returned to agent. So I wouldn't have to be right on that portal. That portal could be 100 miles away. And if my drone was on it and somebody took it, then it would return to me. Okay, continuing our look at drones and Dronenet, you'll notice I got the red dot, which means I'm ready to go. I've moved in locations. So what we're going to look at now is what happens when you deploy and then if you take. So I'm going to go ahead and kick up Dronenet and I'm going to choose move. Again, you notice I don't have recall because I have it. So I will move it to this portal, which is right here next to me. So I'll confirm that.
Dronenet deployed.
And while I'm here, I will just go ahead and do a tap hack.
Acquired. XMP. Resonator. Resonator.
Okay, so I did that as a tap hack. And you notice that the counter started, so that's a little different than a recall in doing that. So now that my drone is sitting on this particular portal, watch what happens if I deploy on it. Let's throw an 8 on it.
XM reserves. 100%.
So
Resonator deployed.
I owned that. No one owned that. I deployed on it. So now when I go back to Dronenet,
Dronenet compromised.
notice that the drone returned to the agent. So it doesn't tell me right away that the drone came back, but when I check it, it tells me that it came back. So it could kind of be used as a sentinel if you're trying to keep track of a couple of different portals and maybe they're owned by someone else or the other side. If you happen to get a drone return, that kind of gives you a tip that, hey, that particular portal has had a change in somewhat. Next up, we'll look at all the things you can and can't do. So now we're looking at the specific things you can and can't do with a drone, going more into depth. So the drone cycle, as you probably saw, once every hour you can move that drone or do something. You physically have to be at the location if you're going to deploy it the first time. Then you don't have to be anywhere near it. You can move it to any other portals that they can see. If it's deployed, you must move the drone before you can hack. And that's kind of a problem with some people. They wanted to hack the same thing. So you might have to go back and forth between two portals if you want to do the hack. We'll talk a little more about that later. You can only move a drone to a portal you can see on the drone footage screen. So you can move around, zoom in and out. The ownership of the portal doesn't matter, so you can jump to one that's neutral, one that's enlightened, one that's resistance. Doesn't really matter. But that changes whenever it changes. Here's a little tip though. If you know that portal is there, but it's just out of view, you might be able to get it to come into view if you charge it or you look at it. That'll change a little bit. So you may have to get out of drone view, come back. You might be able to get to where you can see that one. And of course, if the portal that the drone is on changes ownership, that drone will be recalled, so it comes back to you. So whenever you're doing the hacking with drones, a couple different ways. Of course, you saw that you could tap hack it, you can glyph hack it. You can try the request key, but it's not going to work. And that's on purpose so that you don't have people that are slipping drones onto portals that are hard to get to and then farming them just to keep game balance. So of course, you can still put them in capsules and duplicate them, but they don't want you to be able to get it that way. So you're going to get most types of gear, but you're not going to get keys. Some of the things you can't do via Dronenet. Of course, you can't hack a key. You can't claim a portal. So just because you jump to a neutral portal, you can't claim it because the things that are coming up here, you can't deploy resonators. So if you can't deploy a resonator, you can't claim it. You can't charge resonators, but you can get out and charge it if you have a key. You can't deploy mods. You can't make links. You can't make fields. So in essence, you can't really change the state of that portal. But you can hack and do some other things. So what happens when you do move around and hack? Well, there's some actions that count towards your stats and towards a couple of medals. They do keep track of unique portals the drone visited, the furthest drone flight distance, and I think that's from the time that it went out to the time that it's recalled. I don't think that's by individual jumps. It keeps track of forced drone recalls. It does give a tick to the number of hacks that you've had. So it will keep up on that hacking medal. It'll count towards that. And it keeps also track of just drone hacks. So you can tell how many of those hacks were drone hacks. And since it counts those hacks, if you do a glyph hack, it will give a tick on your glyph hack point. So that's another point up or few, depending upon how you do it, on your translator medal. And of course, probably the biggest thing, especially during COVID-19, is it does give a tick to that longest hack streak. So it does count towards your Sojourner. Now, some of the things that it doesn't count for, if you jump to a portal that is unique that you've never seen before, it is not going to give a tick on unique portal visited because you didn't really visit it. It will not give a tick to portals discovered. It will not count for your distance that you've walked since it's your drone that's flying around. It's not going to add to any of the building stats or the combat stats since you can't really build and you can't really fight. Missions, unless this has changed, missions is kind of confusing. It will let you kind of go through missions and it will look like you are completing portals along the missions, and it will look like that you've completed the mission, but it won't count. So that can be a little bit confusing. Don't get yourself into that. I'm going to complete a mission with my drone. Well, that's nice, but you're not going to get credit for that mission because it won't let you do that. So what are some of the strategies that you can use that drone for? Well, you can use it for farming gear. It's slow. I mean, you're doing one hack an hour. But if you can't hack any other way, you can get your farm gear in. So to do that, you probably want to deploy it on the best farm that you have around. Maybe a distant L8 farm, one that you don't normally go to, or hopefully one that's not going to get wrecked by the other side because then it would recall your drone. And if you can, you might want to look for E0N transmuters. Of course, transmuter plus is going to give you resonators and shields. E0N minus is going to give you bursters and ultra strikes. So if you have both of those within range where you're drone is at, you can collect what you need. So if you know that you're going to go out on an attack and you need to build up a little bit on your bursters and ultra strikes, jump and forth with that EDO in minus and start getting that stuff. But when you do that, consider the required movement that it's going to take to get there. Of course, as we mentioned, you can build up your hacker and your translator and your sojourner medals. You can also just build up those drone stats. Some people are trying to get the long distance ride and going as far as they can. Right now, there's no drone specific medals that are available. Will it be in the future? Possibly. I don't know. As you can see, drone is something that's in the process of being built. As a matter of fact, if you're looking at this, you probably will notice that my footage didn't have the little drone icon, or flying turkey as I call it, above the portal. That's something that I don't have just yet. I'm expecting in a couple of days when it updates, I'll probably see that. So you might be seeing something a little bit different. You might also use that drone as a sentinel. So if it's on a portal that other agents can't tell that it's on there. So there's no way for an agent to tell, even if they're at that portal, that there's a drone sitting on that portal. So it's kind of like a spy in a way. And of course, that drone gets recalled if the ownership of the portal changes, if it's changed. So if you're in an area with a farm or a bunch of them that you want to keep track of, you can keep that in that area. And then if somebody attacks it, somebody claims it or whatever, you're going to get that recall and you'll be able to tell that, hey, something's happened. So that's drones. I'm sure there's more to come. There's talk right now about Model 2, Model 3. This is Drone Mark 1. So who knows? Maybe we'll have an updated drone video coming soon. So I hope to see you out in the field, but if I don't, maybe your drone will come to visit me. See you later, agents. Bye.